Hi everyone, it's Jessica. Thank you for coming by my channel today to watch as I participate with my friends in a mystery envelope challenge. Now, if you have never watched one of the mystery envelope videos before, basically a group of friends and I take turns each month sending each other an envelope full of parts and pieces. And then if it is your turn to send out the envelope, you get to make a couple of rules to go along with that project. And so this month's envelope and pieces are coming from my friend Kim. And it looks like she has sent a bunch of cardstock, like little tiny pieces of cardstock, a couple of sticky notes, and then one tiny little piece here of pattern paper from Close to My Heart's Tutti Frutti collection. Now, the rules that she has set for us this month are that she really wants us to try to do some paper piecing. So I have pulled my Flower Market Cricut cartridge because I actually thought of this bike that's on the cover of it, and initially that's what I was thinking that I would do, is to paper piece a bike. Now she says we can also use white and black cardstock and then these little wild berry gems that we have. And if I use all of those wild berry gems, then I can pull in one other kind of gem as an embellishment. But otherwise, that's it. That's what I have to create with. So this definitely was kind of throwing me for a loop, this piece of shortbread paper here that's kind of this creamy brownish color. So I'm going to put that one aside. And then as far as paper piecing, I tried the bike thing. It did not work. So instead I've cut out a bunch of circles and I'm using this older stamp set from Close to My Heart called So Many Smiles. And then I'm also using this one here called Line It Up. And what I think I'm going to do, I've cut on my Cricut this little scallop out of my piece of white daisy cardstock. And I am going to stamp a piece of paper and then layer it behind where that cutout is, since I don't have any other pattern papers except for, what she sent me in the envelope, and I can't bring anything else in. So I'm going to create my own. And then I think I'm going to take two 4x4 photos and kind of put them out like so. And that's kind of my initial thought. That's where I begin. So I'm going to go ahead and speed things up here as I get started. So like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is using this stamp set called Line It Up. It's a retired stamp set. It came as part of one of my Cricut bundles that I bought long ago. It's just got this background stamp to it. And I'm using Lagoon ink because that is one of the colors of the cardstock pieces that Kim sent in her envelope. And I just, like I said, I'm cheating and I'm creating my own piece of pattern paper. And then because my bicycle idea didn't work, I have grabbed a bunch of colors from my ink pads here. Things that are the same color as the cardstock she sent, or some of the colors are pulled from that pattern piece that she sent. And in this So Many Smiles stamp set, it's basically a bunch of circles, but you can kind of layer them together to create some fun flowers. And I know that that's probably not really the kind of paper piecing that she really had in mind. But like I said, my first idea where I was going to, cut out those bicycle pieces, it just really didn't turn out and I had to kind of throw it away. So I was happy with this. It's a paper piecing of sorts. I didn't really do any masking with my sticky notes. And yeah, I'm just kind of stamping some flowers. Now, as you can see, I've got various size circles, and so some of them I'm stamping all the way in, but then I end up covering parts of them because I'm going to layer them on top of each other. Now, the way that that stamp set is designed, it does leave a little bit of a white border around the outside of your stamp when you cut the circles to the correct size. And because I am going to layer these circles to create my flowers, I don't actually want that white border on there, so I do a little bit of fussy cutting to take them out. Now I still have all of this stuff. I haven't actually yet used anything that she sent me in the envelope. So I'm looking at this piece of raspberry cardstock, and then I have these die cuts, these thin cuts here, that I am going to cut out the word bike. And I did just want to show you that I picked them up with a piece of washi tape because I am going to cut them out with my die cutting machine multiple times to stack them together and give them a little bit more depth and dimension. And it was just really easy to keep grabbing that whole row of letters and just stick it down on the next piece of paper. So my thought was I can use black cardstock, and then I used that raspberry cardstock, and I thought I would kind of layer them on top of each other so that it looks like my word has a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to take all of those circle flowers that I have stamped and created, and I'm going to layer them in clusters around my 2 4x4 photo spots here. Now, as I was initially laying things out, I realized that you really couldn't see that scallop very well. It didn't stand out, the white on white, even though I had stamped it in Lagoon ink. So I did just do a little bit of hand stitching around it with some colored thread to make it stand out. And I also realized I do have a lot of white space still up in the top of my layout that's kind of bothering me. So I have grabbed this stencil, it's from this stencil pack number 3, the card front stencil pack number 3 from Close to My Heart. And using some mint colored ink and a brush, I am just adding a couple of plus signs to the background, and that kind of fills up some of that white space. So now that I have done those 2 different things to kind of add a little something and take away from all of the whiteness that's going on here, I'm back to putting my flowers around and just kind of layering them up. So at first I was trying to get down the pieces that were going to be flat to the page, and then as I went through my stack of things that I had cut out and stamped, I slowly started adding some foam tape so that some of these flowers are kind of popped up, or at least, some of the inner parts of them are popped up. And I just worked my way around these 2 photo wells here. Now, normally when I am scrapbooking, or just generally in scrapbooking, and definitely when making a video, I do usually have the photos on the page so that you can see what it is that I'm creating. But I actually have not printed these 2 pictures yet, but I know what they're going to be. My oldest daughter recently got a brand new bike, which was long overdue for her. And so we went for a bike ride the first night that she got it, she and I did. And so I have 2 cute little pictures that I wanted to scrapbook, but I just don't have them printed yet. So I'm kind of creating this page in anticipation of getting my pictures in the mail. All right, so like I said, just kind of going around these 2 photo spots and adding some clusters of flowers. Again, I apologize, Kim. I know this is not really the paper piecing that you wanted us to do. I hope that it doesn't mean that I failed this assignment for the mystery envelope. I did create flowers out of paper, and I layered them. I stacked them on each other. I'm going to call that my paper piecing. I tried. I'm sorry. So anyway, just kind of finishing up some of these here. This one I had cut in half so that I could use it and tuck it a little bit easier behind those photos, and just kind of putting some of these final circles around. And again, as I'm looking at this, I was paying so much attention to some of the rules that she had set, like the white and black cardstock, the paper piecing, and she did also say to try to add some stenciling or mixed media, so I did that stencil on there. And then I realized, Jessica, you didn't really use the pieces of paper other than you cut out that word bike from the raspberry cardstock. So I went back to my die cuts and I found these stitched hearts, and I cut the 1 heart out of the little glacier square that she had sent us, and then the little pieces of scrap from raspberry that I had left over, I cut out some smaller sized hearts. So I'm going to go ahead and start fussing with my title that I have created, and it's going to say new bike. I'm going to stamp the word new, and then I'm using, like I said, those thin cuts for the word bike. And I thought that I was going to do raspberry on top so that it looked like a shadow, but every time I laid it down on top, I did not like it. I really liked how the black just kind of jumped off the page. And so I try a couple of times because I really wanted to use that cardstock. I mean, again, the assignment is to use the pieces that she sends in the envelope. And I haven't really used them yet, except for those little hearts at this point. But I couldn't do it. It didn't look right. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Jessica, what are you doing? And I started to really sort of panic at this moment. But you know what? This is meant to be fun, and it's not such a big deal. So I don't think that the pattern piece is going to work. But I am looking at my other little scraps of cardstock that were in the envelope, and I like this lagoon. So this is the size piece that she sent us of lagoon. I just cut a dovetail into the end of it, and then I'm going to create a little banner up here at the top. And I do still have some more of that raspberry left over from when I had cut out the letters and the 2 little hearts. So I'm going to try to work that in as well. You can see here, there's enough there to save. And so that will be a second piece of paper that she has sent me that I can use. So I'm going to cut a smaller little banner I'll cut a dovetail into the end of that one as well and layer the two of those one over top of the other. Okay, so I have used 2 pieces of her cardstock, and now this heart, that's number 3. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. I'm starting to slowly use my pieces from the envelope. I didn't end up liking that raspberry banner, so I did take that one off and just kind of went with the heart instead. All right, and then like I said, I am using a stamp set. This is the Pennant Banner Alphabet Stamp Set from Close to My Heart, and I'm going to stamp the word new next to bike. And then she also sent in the envelope some Wildberry gems, glitter gems, and there were, I want to say 4 of them maybe in there. And so I scatter those around my flower clusters, using some of them as the centers of flowers. And then one of the rules that she set for us this month was that if we used all of those Wildberry gems, then we could bring in one other color of gem if we wanted, but I didn't end up adding anything else. So I had kind of a lot left over, but that's okay. Maybe I will make a card or something with my leftover pieces. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's one more page done and ready to go in the book. And I'm feeling really on top of it because I just took those pictures the other day. So there you go. All right, guys, the other ladies with the Makers with Heart are creating for the mystery envelope as well. Be sure to check out their videos. I will leave them all linked down below. It is so much fun to see how everybody creates a project using the very same pieces that we are all given and the same rules and parameters. So enjoy watching all of those. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting. Bye.